House of Commons Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoy has told MPs to smarten up their clothing when they return to the Commons.
The new guidelines state that jeans, chinos, sportswear or other casual trousers are not appropriate and sleeveless tops are not business attire. But in a new age of virtual working, is it acceptable now that you're back in the office to dress down for work?
Well, joining us now is commentator and former Apprentice candidate Joanna, who agrees there should be a dress code for work, and business owner Michaela, Wain, who thinks his professional appearance doesn't need to be formal. Good morning to both of you this morning. Joanna, I wonder whether sort of the work environment for you has changed dramatically over lockdown and the advent of doing a lot of meetings and business sort of appointments over Zoom, and whether that's changed your approach to what you should be wearing.
For me personally, it hasn't. I think for a lot of people, they've got into the habit of kind of dressing from the waist up professionally, which obviously is needed. But I think that everybody realises that there's a difference between your professional life and your personal life. And for me personally, I don't want to see my MP doing PMQs looking like they just nip into the shop. I think there needs to be a clear distinction. You don't act the same as you do in your personal life when you're at work. So I think that there should be a separation in that sense, and it's a sign of respect to dress well for work.
So in a recent survey last month, a third of UK staff want to ditch dress codes when they return to the office. And we know that Marks and Spencer's has pulled suits from more than half of its stores. So it seems like you might be slightly out of step, and Lindsay Hoy, with actually, you know, what a lot of people are thinking, or if you do want them to wear a suit, where they're going to buy it.
Well, I think that in this day and age, not many people are expecting you to kind of rock up in a three-piece suit. But I think that in some senses, people do take it too far and they are too relaxed at work. And whether we like it or not, people do judge you in those environments. And you have to have a clear distinction between the way that you dress outside of work and inside of work. I think that, you know, rocking up in something like trackies or a T-shirt at work is completely unacceptable. And it's got nothing to do with comfort, because I'm here wearing a shirt and I'm not uncomfortable, any more uncomfortable than what I would in a T-shirt. It's just a sign of respect to dress well, especially in professional situations.
Michaela, do you think you've ever been judged by somebody you've been meeting in a formal business meeting because perhaps you haven't worn something that would be deemed traditionally appropriate?
Potentially, yeah. I don't dress up to work, and I will wear tracksuits. I run a marketing agency, so it's quite creative. So I like to be comfortable, and I allow everybody who works for us to wear whatever they choose to wear. So some people choose to wear a suit because they feel, like Joanna said, they switch off from the personal life. There's this clear definition, but the majority of people want to be comfortable and wear jeans or chinos or tracksuits. And as long as they're looking clean and tidy, then that's fine with me.
If you're pitching for new business, though, Michaela, and you're going to a new client and you want to put off, you know, the idea of what your business is going to do for them, would you turn up in a tracksuit?
It depends who the client is, to be fair. If it's one of, it depends what their business is. So I'll follow their dress code. In my own office, we set a dress code of smart casual, and I'll just follow whatever my clients are doing, to be honest. So if they were selling tracksuits, then 100%.
If you were meeting Joanna for a meeting, would you turn up in jeans or a tracksuit?
I've met Joanna for a few meetings, and I'd wear what I want, and I'd hope there'd be no judgment there.
And Joanna would, but it sounds, Joanna, like you would judge if Michaela turned up in her interpretation of smart casual, because it wouldn't be smart enough for you.
Well, I've seen Michaela in both professional and private situations. And actually, let me tell you, when I've seen Michaela in professional situations, she's rocked up in Louboutins and Jimmy Choos and nice pencil dresses. So actually, Michaela, fair enough for your office, but when I've seen you, you've looked pretty polished.
Michaela?
I mean, we was in front of Lord Sugar at the time.
It's not as casual as you say it is.
Sorry?
It's not as casual as you say it is.
No, in my office, the way that I run my office, it is completely casual, yeah. It completely depends on the environment that I'm going into, but the setting that we have, it's smart casual, like I said, we've got creative people there. If you want to come in tracksuits, shorts, T-shirts and be comfortable, and we don't have any clients coming into our office, then it's completely fine. I think people should be able to be comfortable in the work environment. And I don't believe in this, you switch off from work and you're a different person. For the good or bad, I'm exactly the same at working in the office. So I don't know if there needs to be that definition.
So what about your MP then, Michaela? Because Joanna's already said, I don't want to see my MP going to the House of Commons in a T-shirt and tracksuit bottoms. I think it shows a lack of respect for his constituents or her constituents. How would you feel if you saw your MP representing you in Parliament in a tracksuit or in something that wasn't deemed to be appropriate attire?
I just think, thank God, there's some humans in Parliament now. I think it's all a bit stiff, to be honest. And, you know, times change, we can change. It's fine to adapt and change. But the clothes does not actually define the person. So, for me, I'd be relieved to see somebody normal in Parliament.
Tracy Brabins was criticised for this dress that she was wearing on the front benches. Is that appropriate, Michaela?
Yeah, it is. It's a top.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen this when the news broke about it. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's completely appropriate. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a shoulder. You know, she's not really stood there naked, is she? It's fine.
And in fact, I think she auctioned it off for charity.
Yes,
so she
made a lot of money. Joanna, what did you make of it?
I thought it was absolutely fine. I think that, you know, she looks polished. My problem with it is that, you know, some people cross the line in the sense that they end up looking like they've just rolled out of bed. And I think that you need to be ready and in a professional mindset. And I actually think that it does the opposite in terms of psychologically and in a behavior point of view. I think that when you're dressed well, you're in work mode and you're ready to provide the best service. And especially if you are in a client-facing role, it looks as if you actually respect that other person's time and you respect, you know, the meeting that you're about to have. You, like I said, don't just look like you've just nipped to the shop or you're at the park with your kids.
Well, it's interesting, as you were speaking, you hadn't directly referenced Jacob Rees-Mogg, and in fact, he was dressed very smartly.
He was, yeah.
But he was reclining on the benches, and I wonder if, you know, it's actually not to do with what you're wearing, but it's how you behave in Parliament that counts.
Well, I think Jacob Rees-Mogg is a completely different kettle of fish. I think that it doesn't really matter to him, you know, how he dresses, his behaviour is his behaviour. And for some people, unfortunately, you know, they still have that sense of entitlement regardless of how they dress. But I think for the general population, even from school, you know, we wear uniforms and you dress smart. And I think that it gives a sense of neutrality where whatever room you walk into, you know that you'll be well respected. And also you're giving that person that respect by at least bothering to make an effort. And like I say, you don't have to wear a three-piece suit like him, but you don't have to necessarily wear a T-shirt as well or something that, you know, barely looks polished at all or like you can't be bothered.
David's got in touch with us saying, I've just started back to the office. I've kitted myself out with lovely black jeans, brown shoes, a new wardrobe of polo shirts. I'm 40 years old. I think this look is more than good enough for the average day. However, there are certain meetings where I'll still sport a suit and tie. We've got to roll with the times.
Michaela, I love the fact that we've outed you as someone who actually is more at home in a pencil skirt and Louboutins. And in fact, the sale of high heels went down 71% in the second quarter of this year. I mean, because the thing is, what's the point of wearing heels on Zoom?
Very little. Very, very little. And also, when you're locked down and you can't do anything, you've got to go for a walk or you're running around. And hasn't the fashion changed as well? I'm led to believe by Mrs S that actually lots more wearing shoes, trainers and stuff is the way forward. So might that be it? Absolutely. And also, why not wear things like your dressing gown to work? That's my view. The question is whether it's appropriate attire first thing. I mean, first thing in the morning, if you're at home in your bedroom, maybe. On national television. It's breakfast television. It was breakfast, right there. Michaela and Joanna, thanks very much indeed.